When Mama Aisha walked into the classroom for the first time at 65, the children laughed, not because she was late, not because she wore the wrong uniform. They laughed because, in their young minds, she was too old to learn. Some covered their mouths, some pointed openly. One boy whispered loudly, "Is this not somebody's grandmother?" Mama Aisha paused at the door, her hand still resting on the handle, her wrapper neatly tied, her small handbag pressed to her chest. For a brief second, her heart skipped. Then, she lifted her head and stepped inside. Mama Aisha was born in a village where dreams were not encouraged, especially for girls. In that village, children either went to the farm or to the market. School was for the lucky ones, for the children whose parents had something small. Her father had died when she was still very young. Her mother sold firewood and pepper by the roadside. Some days, they ate once. Some days, they didn't eat at all. Every morning, Mama Aisha watched other children walk past her house with uniforms and books. She would stand behind the mud wall, barefoot, holding a broom or a basket, and stare at them like they were walking into another world. Sometimes, she followed them quietly, stopping at the edge of the school compound, listening to the sound of children reciting alphabet she did not understand. A for apple, B for ball, C for cat. Those letters stayed in her head like a song she could never sing. But life did not wait for dreams. By the time she was 12, Mama Aisha was working. By 14, she was helping raise younger siblings. By 18, she was married. School slowly became a forgotten dream, buried under survival. Mama Aisha was not educated, but she was wise. She raised her children with discipline, prayer, and sacrifice. She could not read letters, but she knew how to read people. She could not write words, but she knew how to shape characters. When her daughter Funke struggled with homework as a child, Mama Aisha would sit beside her, nodding seriously, even though she did not understand what was written on the page. "Read it for me," she would say. "I want to hear it with my ears." Funke did not know then, but her mother was living her dreams through her. Years passed. Funke grew up, went to school, did well, and eventually married a wealthy man in the city. Life changed. The village faded into a memory, and the city became home. But Mama Aisha never complained. She never asked for much. She never said, "I suffered for you." She just smiled and thanked God. One evening, Funke sat with her mother in the living room of a modern city apartment. The air conditioner hummed softly. Mama Aisha sat carefully on the sofa, hands folded on her lap, as if she was afraid of spoiling something expensive. Funke watched her quietly. "Mama," she said suddenly, "if I could give you anything in this world, just one thing, what would it be?" Mama Aisha laughed softly. "You people and your big questions." "I am serious," Funke said. "Anything." Mama Aisha went quiet. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she sighed, the kind of sigh that carried many years inside it. "I want to go to school." Funke blinked. "To school?" she repeated, then laughed. "Mama, stop playing, no." Mama Aisha did not laugh. "I'm not playing," she said gently. "I want to learn, even if it is small. I want to read. I want to write my name without using thumbprints." The room went silent. Funke looked at her mother again, really looked at her serious eyes, at her steady voice. And in that moment, she realized her mother had been carrying this wish for decades. It took time, discussions, convincing, doubts. "Mama, are you sure? People will talk, oh. Won't it be stressful?" Mama Aisha answered all of them with one sentence. "I have waited all my life." So, Funke kept her promise. She enrolled her mother into a modern school that offered basic education. She bought uniform, shoes, a school bag, books. The nights before resumption, Mama Aisha barely slept. She arranged her clothes repeatedly. She practiced holding a pen. She whispered the alphabet to herself like a prayer. The next morning, Funke drove her mother to school. The building was big, painted, bright. Children filled the compound with noise and laughter. Mama Aisha stepped out of the car slowly. Then it happened. The moment she entered the classroom, the laughters. It started as jiggles, then whispers, then full laughter. Grandma, is she our new teacher? Maybe she came to pick her grandchild. One boy laughed so hard he fell off his chair. Mama Aisha stood there frozen. The teacher cleared her throat awkwardly. Class, keep quiet. Mama Aisha ear burned. Her hands shook. For a second, she wanted to turn back. But then she remembered the little girl who once stood behind the mud wall, listening to alphabet she could not understand, and she walked to her seat. School was not easy. Her hands shook when she wrote. Her eyes struggled to see the board. Children mocked her mistakes. Mama, that's not how you spell cat. Auntie, your writing is like chicken leg. Sometimes she laughed with them. Sometimes she cried at night. But every morning, she returned. She practiced letter late into the night. She asked questions without shame. She refused to miss a day. Slowly, something changed. The laughter reduced. The whispers softened. Mama Aisha was not the fastest learner, but she was the most determined. And without knowing it, she was teaching everyone a lesson no book could explain. By the third month, the laughter has changed. It did not disappear completely, but it lost its confidence. The children no longer laughed loudly. Now they whispered, and even those whispers sounded unsure. Mama Aisha was still the oldest in the room, still slow with her writing, still careful with how she spoke, but she was no longer weak. She never missed a class. Rain or sun, pain or tiredness, mockery or silence. She came early, she sat straight, she listened like every word was gold. One afternoon, the teacher asked a simple question. Nobody answered. The class was quiet. Mama Aisha raised her hands. The room froze. The teacher hesitated, then nodded. Yes, Mama Aisha. She answered correctly. For the first time, nobody laughed. Not every day was victory. One day, during a reading exercise, Mama Aisha struggled badly. Her voice shook. She mixed letters. The class burst into laughter again, louder this time. See Grandma stammering. She should go home and rest. Mama Aisha stopped reading, her eyes filled with tears. The teacher quickly ended the lesson, but the damage was done. That night, Mama Aisha cried like a child. I am embarrassing myself, she told Funke. Maybe they are right. Funke held her mother tightly. Mama, she said firmly, people laughed when I first learned how to walk in heels. Should I have stopped? Mama Aisha smiled weakly. Rest, Funke continued. Tomorrow, go back. And she did. Something changed after that day. Mama Aisha became fearless. She asked questions without shame. She practiced without hiding. She laughed at her own mistakes before others could. When children teased her, she replied with humor. Yes, so I am old, she would say, but my brain is still working. The class started laughing with her, not at her. Soon, some children began sitting closer to her. Mama Aisha, how did you remember that? Mama, can you explain this one again? The same hands that once pointed at her now raised in respect. Years passed. Mama Aisha moved from one level to another. Primary school, then secondary. Her graduation day from primary school was emotional. Funke cried openly. Even the teachers wiped their tears. She's the most disciplined student we have ever had, one teacher said. By the time Mama Aisha entered secondary school, The story of the old woman in class had spread. People came to see her. Some mocked, some admired, some were inspired. Mama Aisha ignored all distractions. I didn't come here to impress anybody, she said. I came to learn. After completing her education, Mama Aisha did something nobody expected. She trained as a teacher, standing in front of a classroom this time as the one holding chalk. Mama Aisha smiled. The children listened. They did not laugh. They did not whisper. They respected her. Sometimes, she would pause mid-lesson and say, "Don't laugh at people who are learning slowly. One day, you may be the one starting late." On our final graduation day, Mama Aisha was invited to speak. She stood at the podium, holding her speech carefully. "I was once laughed at," she said calmly. "But laughter did not stop me. Fear did not stop me. Age did not stop me." The all was silent. "Education has no age," she continued. "Dreams do not expire. The only real failure is never trying." There was a thunderous applause. Mama Aisha returned home, not as a woman who was late to school, but as a woman who arrived exactly when she was ready. And from that day on, whenever someone said, "It is too late," her story answered, "No, it is not." The moral of this story is this: it is never too late to chase your dreams. Courage and determination can turn laughter into respect. Hi Tales by Debbie family. Thank you so much for watching this amazing folktale story. I hope you all enjoyed it and I hope you all learned something from this story. Please kindly leave your opinion about the story in the comment section. Have you ever started something late in life and felt people doubted you? Which part of Mama Aisha's journey inspired you the most? Comment your answers down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please kindly hit on that subscribe button. Share the story to your friends and your loved ones. And I'll see you all in another of my video. But for now, stay blessed and stay safe. Bye, besties.